Hello there, Chef Rulis here from Rulis International Kitchen. And today I'm going to show you how to make a healthy game day meal that is sure to wow your guests. Let's head over into the kitchen. All right guys, welcome to my kitchen. So as I mentioned, we're going to do a little kind of tailgate party, diabetic friendly spread here. And we're going to start out with some baby potatoes. These we're just going to put a little bit of oil on them. We're gonna roast them off at 450 for about 20 to 35 minutes. And we're seasoning with garlic and herbs. This has no salt. If you want salt, you can always add salt. These are gonna take the longest to cook, so we're gonna start with those first. The second thing that we're gonna put on will be the steak kebabs. And so I got some New York steaks right here. We're gonna dice up some onion, some squash, and some bell pepper. Remember, colorful food is healthy food, so as many colors as you want to get in there, you're good to go. And for this one, we're gonna season it up with the blend. Salt, pepper, garlic. You can't go wrong with that combination. It is delicious. And then a chicken lettuce wrap. We're gonna do a little bit of bourbon peach on this chicken right here. We're gonna do a little bit of an apple slaw with some Granny Smith apples. And we're gonna put it all in some lettuce. This is live lettuce, so we're gonna have to clean that up a little bit. But these are your ingredients, not very complicated. Let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start with our potatoes. It's super simple. We're just gonna put these into a little sheet pan. We're going to drizzle them with a little bit of oil. This is just canola oil. And then we're just gonna season them up. And you can use any type of seasoning, whatever you like is good. And then just give them a... Okay, and these will be ready to go into the oven, 450, again, about 25-30 minutes. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do the apple slaw for our chicken's lettuce wraps. I like to use the Granny Smith apple. It has a nice tangy flavor, and it's gonna go very, very well against some of these flavors that are going into the chicken. So again, we're gonna marinate with some bourbon peach. So there's gonna be some brown sugar in there. And so this will be nice and tart, and it'll be a way to kind of cut through and balance out all those flavors. It's gonna be amazing. And these I'm just gonna cut into little sticks. And depending on how many guests you have, you can, use 1 apple, 2 apples. It depends on how many people you're feeding. Okay, after our apple, we're gonna take some cilantro. Some people love it, some people hate it. I love it, so I'm gonna use about half of this. And we're just gonna chop this up. Combine it there. Last step, we're just going to pour some lemon juice in here. And then the last step is just some kosher salt. Mix this up. And that's it. This is your topping. Super easy. Next, we're gonna do the veggies for our kebabs. We're gonna start out with the squash. We're just gonna cut those tips off, and we're gonna slice it fairly thin. Remember, this is gonna go on the grill, so you don't want something too thick that's not gonna cook evenly with the rest of your food. Steak, I like mine medium rare, so it doesn't take that much time to cook. That's why doing the thinner slice is gonna give you a better end result. And we'll just put these here. Now, when I'm prepping vegetables, what I like to do is cut the sweet stuff first, and then the more neutral stuff second, and then the onion last. That way, you don't have apples that taste like onion, and it makes, again, for just a much better end result. So our squash is done. We're gonna go ahead and break down our pepper. Okay, and this, we're gonna cut squares that are about an inch. Remember, these are gonna be skewered, so you don't want them to be super tiny. And we'll put that over here. And then last but not least, our onion. Now I'm using a red onion for this. I like the flavor of it. And this, again, we just want to cut into big chunks. About like that. Okay, all our veggies are cut. Now the only thing left to do is prep our chicken and our steak. All right, so what we're gonna be using for our kebabs is this beautiful New York steak. What we're gonna do here is just cut it up into, again, about 1-inch squares. And what we want is everything to be as even as possible. That way it's gonna cook even. So don't worry too much about the fat. Remember, fat is flavor. These steaks have already been out for about an hour. They've been tempering. This is gonna allow everything to cook more evenly. Again, just wanna make sure that all your pieces are more or less the right size. We're gonna hit it with some of our seasoning right here. This seasoning is called the blend. It's salt, pepper, and garlic. Just go ahead and sort of massage that in. We got that ready to go. We're just going to skewer these up and get them on the grill. All right, so we're gonna start with our onion. Now, if you noticed, I'm not crying. And the reason I'm not crying when I cut these onions is because I have a sharp knife. The trick is having a sharp knife. If you cut with a blunt knife, you're gonna make the onion cry. You're gonna see this liquid that comes out, and if the onion cries, you're gonna cry. But if you have a sharp knife, you're gonna avoid that, and you can chop onions all day. You won't shed a tear. So this is really free form. You can skewer these up in any order that you want. Just remember, you want to get a lot of color in here just because it looks pretty. Okay, so our skewers are ready for the grill. Before we go over there, we're just gonna do a simple seasoning on the chicken. We're just gonna cook these off on a hot skillet. We're using a little bit of canola oil just so our seasoning will stick. And for this one, we're using a bourbon peach rub. These are so flavorful. Just massage all that in. All right, and these I pounded so that they're nice and even. Remember, we're using chicken breast, and normally this part is gonna be a lot thicker than this part, so we just pound it out so it's even, and you're gonna get even cooking. Our chicken's ready, our kebabs are ready. Let's hit the grill. Okay, so we've preheated our grill. We got it about medium-high heat, and we're just gonna start putting these guys down. That's the sizzle you wanna hear. That means your oven is hot enough. Your grill is hot enough. These are gonna take about 10 minutes. If you want them to be medium well, you can pull them off after about 8 minutes if you just want a nice medium rare. What you don't wanna do with your skewers is start messing with them too much. You don't wanna press on the meat. When they're ready to flip, they'll just come straight off. If they're still sticking, then they're not ready to be flipped. Just leave them on a little bit longer. The food will tell you when it's ready. While we're waiting for the second side to cook, let's go ahead and get our chicken on the pan. This has already been heating up for a couple of minutes. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of oil. And then we're just gonna lay our chicken in there. And we're gonna let that go for about 3 minutes aside. Again, once it's ready to release, it'll just come off and you'll be able to flip it super simple. These smell amazing. So these are done. The only thing left to do is get our chicken, chop it up, make our lettuce wraps, pull our potatoes out of the oven, make a little aioli, and our feast is ready to go. Okay, so our kebabs are off the grill, our chicken is cooked and already diced, our potatoes are out of the oven, and we're almost done. So let's go ahead and make some of these lettuce wraps. We're just gonna put in a little bit of chicken. Let's get these on here. And top them off with a little bit of our apple cilantro slaw. Our lettuce wraps are ready to go. Now we're just gonna make the aioli for our potatoes. And for that, we need about a cup of mayonnaise. We're gonna squeeze in some sriracha, depending on how hot you like things. We're just gonna take a little bit of lemon juice. Squeeze that in there. Add a little bit of salt. And then go ahead and just mix that up. Just keep mixing until everything is well blended. Taste it for salt, adjust it if necessary, and let's give it a go. All right, I think we're ready to feast. All right, guys, there you have it. Super easy meal. I hope you try it and enjoy it. Please smash that like button and follow us on social media. Cheers.